We're joined now by Dr. Amy Hagerman, our Extension Ag Policy Specialist, to talk about wildfires from the past couple of weeks in Oklahoma. Amy, it's been a rough several days with wildfires and high winds. Today's another example.
Yeah, we've had multiple fires across the state, and it's been in different counties, it's been in different kinds of conditions, it's burned different kinds of land, but we have had over 60,000 acres that have been involved in some kind of fire complex incident. So we definitely have a lot of producers, communities, and individuals that have dealt with the stress of the fire situation itself and are now dealing with the recovery effort afterwards.
We want to give them some tools and kind of places to start with recovery, but first we want to touch base on the mental health aspect of going through something like this. I think especially hard because some of these fires were set on purpose, are actually arson, so that's especially devastating.
Yeah, it's really hard when your community is affected by an event like this, when your home is threatened or actually damaged, when you receive property damage for your operation, for your livelihood. So that's always the first thing, especially in this moment right after the fire occurs, to do a check-in on your own mental health, to reach out for resources, to talk to someone, even if it's just to get some stuff off of your chest, to vent a little bit. But there are certainly resources available. We have a farm stress page that has resources specific to different counties or to nearby counties if there isn't a page specific to that county. And so we'd really encourage people to reach out to someone they trust and talk, to reach out to some of these resources, to reach out to someone in one of these organizations.
Mental health, of course, always priority number one. What if folks have lost livestock? Where do they need to start?
So I think, again, safety, just like mental health, checking in on yourself, also safety, checking in on the property, making sure it's safe to go back to that property before actually going in and assessing any damages. For those who have had pastures or perhaps even had livestock that could not get away from the fire or they could not be evacuated off of that property, it's really important when applying for federal programs, specifically like the Livestock Indemnity Program, that a notice of loss be submitted to the Farm Service Agency as soon as is reasonable and safe to get back on that operation. That loss has to be filed within 30 days for livestock or 15 days for honeybees, for anybody who may have apiaries out on land that was burned.
What about folks who have lost a structure or had pasture damage? Kind of where do you start on that?
Yeah, so there are several different programs. Now, first, of course, is your insurance. That's always your first stop. What is covered under your insurance? So sometimes outbuildings are covered under insurance, or you may have hay that is covered under insurance. If your insurance doesn't have coverage for those, especially when you're thinking about something like hay or fence line, there are other programs that can be applied for. One is an emergency loan through USDA, and again, that's a matter of contacting your FSA office and beginning that process early on to make sure you meet eligibility requirements and documentation requirements. Another thing is the Emergency Conservation Program, which can actually help with things like fence lines or structures that are not part of the main farm or the main home.
A lot of different paths people can take. The County Extension Office is a good place to start, and they can guide you through some of these.
It's a great place to start because they're going to have their eye on all of these different programs for communities, for households, for producers, for landowners, and also they're going to know the people to contact in all of those different offices so they can help make those connections. Also, your county educator is just a great person to talk to if you just want to talk to somebody about what happened and get some ideas of where to start.
Sure. Okay, great information, Amy. Thanks a lot. And for a link to those online resources that Amy mentioned, go to sunup.okstate.edu.